I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Well, in December, we heard some news locally about a local arts organization working with the school district and the city of Joplin to promote cultural arts centers in the community. Today, we're going to follow up on that and find out more about Connect2Culture. And joining me is Clifford Wert. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Judy. Pleasure to be here.
And when people hear Connect2Culture, they say, well, I've heard of that for a while. You have a history. The organization's been around since 2009?
Absolutely. This is a group of arts, business, and community leaders who came together in 2009 with the aspiration of developing the cultural offerings of our community to assist the artists and all of the various entities that we have in our community to let our community know there is a great deal to do here in Joplin, and there are activities to go and attend and to offer and to understand the calendar of events that are available. But also another prime objective that we had was the opportunity to develop performing and visual venues, because there was a real need to expand and increase our offerings to our citizens of Joplin and to the people of the region.
I know when I've talked on interviews in the past with people from the chamber to different areas of government, they talk about the importance of culture and arts being an aspect of maybe attracting new businesses or just enhancing the life for people who are here. Absolutely.
The cultural arts are an important thread in the community. Whether it is to the existing populace that we have here in Joplin and the surrounding area, or the effort to attract, the constant question is, well, what is there to do in Joplin? What does Joplin have to offer? And we believe the opportunity to expand the offerings and to bring some different programming, some expanded visual presentations, anything that we can do to, and also incorporate the educational aspect of that, to allow people of all ages, students, adults, to have that opportunity to learn on any aspect of the performing arts or the visual arts. So it is an important thread. We recognize it's not the total thread, but we believe it to be an important one.
And when you say the word arts, it's pretty broad. I mean, you're talking about, you mentioned visual, performance. There's a lot of different aspects that are involved in the word
absolutely.
Arts.
And you've seen this happen from the pottery businesses and classes to the drawing and arts to ballet to opera to jazz to contemporary type music to poetry. I mean, there is all types of cultural arts that come into play that we would like to really give a added venue opportunity to.
Right, and you of course have been promoting the what you have already in place in Joplin. For a lot of people, perhaps it's beginning is just an awareness. Did you know we already have these things?
Oh, absolutely, and that's what our calendar, with Connect2Culture, we have an ongoing every week calendar that is out there, and you can know exactly, here are the performances coming this week. Here are the showings happening this week. Here are the classes that you can attend this week. Here's what's coming. And we've just tried to really bring the arts community together so that anyone that has an interest will know, but also so that the arts community themselves will know what's happening and maybe not be in as much conflict with one another in their scheduling.
And your organization is a 501c3 nonprofit?
Absolutely, and we started in 2009, incorporated in 2009, but received our IRS designation for that in 2011. So we are a 501c3, so any and all support that we do receive is in fact totally tax deductible.
Great. Well, now we're taking the next step, as you say, from letting people know what's going on to kind of dreaming and putting some plans into place for the future.
Absolutely, and you know, we started with a very sizable plan at First and Main Street in Joplin that had a vision for a 1,200-seat performing arts center, a 500-seat proscenium theater, a expanded space for the George A. Spivak Center for the Arts, community spaces, art offices, places where people could gather, people could host seminars, teaching sessions, lectures, weddings, to whatever extent they wanted to use this facility.
So it's going to be one big facility.
That was the vision back, and we had engaged back in 2010 a feasibility study done by the North Group out of New York City, well-renowned and renowned group that helps in the performance arts area and developing potential campaigns for that.
Right.
But then we also had two premier architectural firms locally, Corner Greer and Associates, but also out of Cleveland, Ohio, Westlake Reed Laskowski, who has expertise in the area of performing arts. And so we had this plan put together, but then came May of 2011. And of course, Joplin had to take a push pause.
Right.
They had to we had to concentrate.
The whole city had to redirect what we're doing.
Absolutely. We had to reconcentrate on our community, on our recovery efforts. And so we knew this was still a plan that we needed to bring forward to elevate the cultural arts offerings in our community. But we had to say, okay, what really is going to make sense? And as time has passed, as money and funding has evolved, as assets within the community have come about and come out of the ground or already existed for our community, we've now have taken the approach that we want to work in a practical, common sense way to utilize the assets that we have in our community in order to truly enhance the cultural offerings that we want to bring.
So the proposals we're going to talk about today are really, in a sense, partnerships. You have a partnership with the school district proposal as well as a partnership with the city.
That's exactly right. We have now presented to the Joplin School Board and to the City Council of Joplin two proposals in utilizing existing assets and existing facilities, but to expand those facilities to again elevate the cultural offerings. So on November the 25th of this year, we went to the Joplin School Board and we received the unanimous support of the school board to explore the potential. And I want to underline explore, because there is a significant amount of work that has to be done to accomplish what we envision regarding both the school property and the Memorial Hall site. But staying with the school.
Right, let's start with the school and the process. So basically the first step was let's talk to the school board.
Yes, we have to talk with the school board and we have to at least present a plan. And so what we did is that we went to the Community Foundation of Southwest Missouri, the Joplin Recovery Fund. And we made a grant request application from them to help us to fund the plans and renderings that we would like to present to the Joplin School Board for a potential addition to the Performing Arts Center that is under construction and should be finished here in early 2015 at the high school. And that basic plan is one that brings approximately 23,000 square foot of new addition to the Joplin High School Performing Arts Center, recognizing that what we are offering and wanting to do will in no way slow down, stop, delay, cause any issues with the timely construction.
So they can finish what's underway and have it open first of the year.
Have it open for their students, have it open for the community. We as Connect2Culture could potentially even utilize that facility in some offerings that we would like to bring. But there are certain needs to that facility that we would like to add that would enhance the flexibility and the usability of that beautiful 1,170 seat Performing Arts Center.
So you're going to have a nice big facility that can hold a lot of people. You want to add some special features to it then.
Exactly. To the north side of that facility, we're proposing a complex, a two-story complex that would facilitate more restroom facilities, dressing room facilities, technical storage room facilities, and gathering spaces for people, whether that be, for example, a pre-show function where people want to come in before a show and they would be in this separated area, separate and apart from the school, and there be able to have, say, a standing gathering reception or maybe a sit-down type banquet that what we have designed can hold up to over 600 people in a standing area or over 200 people in a sitting area. And there is designed a catering area where we could bring in food items that would be catered into this area. But it also enables us to have the necessary entrance of trucks and trailers that are needed to bring the staging, to bring the setting. So it's a great plan that merely enhances the beautiful auditorium that the Joplin High School is bringing to our community.
So with some additional features to that auditorium, so they're
Absolutely.
able to have some more. Then you see this would be able to attract some bigger venues, bigger events by having this to offer to people as they look at our community.
Most definitely. There will be opportunities to bring all types of performances, genre of music, jazz, from bands, individual performers, choir type presentations, children's programming of all sizes and shapes, some small Broadway type productions, ballets, not only in support of touring areas, but hopefully for our own Midwest Regional Ballet. Opera, same thing, also for Heartland Opera. Just a full genre of presentation that we would be able to bring, and it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of coordination, takes booking, takes ticketing, takes a lot of
management aspect,
production aspects to it that we have yet to develop. So with that particular project at the high school, since the school board has authorized us to continue to explore the potential, the next step is what we're doing is a memorandum of understanding, the creation of that, that will help the school and Connect2Culture to know just exactly how we can together use these facilities for not only the students, but also then for the community.
So this tie between school and community, this is not a unique idea. The other communities are utilizing this type of
Absolutely. We have investigated area communities. We have information from places like New Albany, Ohio, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, have initiated a contact with Alma, Arkansas. And so all of these areas that have the school community, they are helping us to understand how we can do this, not only from the community, but one of the great things is for the students. Students of the high school will then be able to participate and understand about front stage management, backstage management, meet with the performers go into the classroom, the students come into the actual production, just to garner that whole educational opportunity. But one thing to make sure everyone understands, this effort that we are doing at the Joplin High School is a total private investment. There is no funding that we are asking for or seeking from the Joplin School District.
So the school district has the building, you want to enhance it with private funds with these other features.
Exactly. We understand that this is a school community partnership, and our part of the partnership in part will be to raise the dollars to actually build what we envision to build and what technical things we'd like to support the existing facility with, so that we can make this a great project for our community.
So if someone were to ask you at this time, the status is you have this memorandum of understanding, getting ready to just really start looking at the nuts and bolts of what the procedures might be.
We have to develop the memorandum, finalize that, but then also a subsequent step quite honestly, Judy, is the fact that we have a relationship under contract with the North Group, who did our initial feasibility study, and they will come alongside us to actually help us with the capital campaign.
Okay.
So we understand that in all that we're trying to do, school community partnership, city community partnership, that there's an element here of private donations, foundations, grants, however we can best bring together the community side to help to fund these projects. We understand that we have to do that, and that we still have that ahead of us as well.
And that's a crucial piece of the puzzle, is those financial resources.
Unequivocally, yes.
Putting that together.
Unequivocally.
This would give then a facility that does not exist at this time in the Joplin area.
It would give us a facility that would have the amenities and the support that would allow us to do what we envision. We have great facilities here within the community, but a lot of those are tied to specific activities. I'll use Taylor Auditorium.
Right.
Taylor Auditorium is used here by the community, but it has as its main focus the university and all of the programs at the university. So that's an aspect of that memorandum of understanding. Is we understand the school has certain months of the year that they have spring activities and fall activities.
Drama classes, their things, right?
They have their schedule, but what can we do in concert with that and add on to that that would really make a great facility for the school? And maybe even that added facility could help the school with their alumni. You know,
So there's a lot of different directions you can go with that type of
absolutely.
Right. So we have the school proposal, and then about a week later you visited the Joplin City Council.
Yes, we
so
did.
People will probably say, okay, we've got the school, now what are we talking about Memorial Hall? Let's explain that part of it.
Well, again, let's go back to that original grand plan that we had at First and Main. 1,200 seat Performing Arts Center, 500 seat Presidium Theater, supporting such local groups as Pro Musica. And then the expanded facility for the George A. Spiva Center for the Arts. George A. Spiva Center for the Arts owns their building, does a great work. They have I just got the number, I believe 13,000 people who visited the George A. Spiva Center for the Arts in their last calendar year through all of their, or fiscal year through all of their exhibits. 640 different artists that brought in all of this. But their space is in need of such things as added security, added environmental controls.
Right, we're talking about the arts, the environment.
You know, added space area there for them to expand their classroom facilities. You know, it's just a tremendous opportunity to join with George A. Spiva Center for the Arts. So here we come with this plan, but now we are at the position of saying, what asset do we have in our community that could perhaps keep those activities in our downtown, but enhance our community? And that's the reason why that we as Connect2Culture, along with George A. Spiva Center for the Arts, the Pro Musica Board, and the Downtown Joplin Alliance, all four of our boards passed a specific resolution that said we would like to approach the Joplin City Council to explore the potential of the Memorial Hall site becoming a community cultural arts center.
Okay, so four groups with a common interest, especially you mentioned the downtown interests.
Exactly.
Working together.
Exactly. And so those unanimous board approaches came to the City Council on Monday night, December the 1st. We made our presentation, and the Council unanimously supported, again, the exploration of the Memorial Hall site. Again, we have a great deal of work, we understand, to do here. The first thing that we're doing for the Memorial Hall site is the need to develop plans and renderings for that site. And so we are going to need to raise funds and the cost for that is approximately $65,000. But it would be to do a Plan A, which is, let's call that the shell building plan. And Plan B would be, let's look at ground up.
Start the building.
Right.
Now we have some drawings that you actually showed these that night at the city council meeting.
Exactly.
We can call that one up on the screen showing Memorial Hall. Pretty much this is what you see now.
This is what you see right now with the ramps that you have there in front. And the next slide will show you without those ramps, but the original stairs. And then we come to this next slide that I presented, and I want to make it very, very, very clear. This is an image. This is a concept. This is a potential. This is not necessarily what we will actually present when the plans and renderings are presented.
So this is an idea, but you still have that money to raise to get specifically what you want to
We have the money to raise, and then we have to develop. When we did the First and Main Street information, we did a programmatic square footage design of what each of these entities needed. So many square foot for George A. Spiva Center for the Arts, so much for the theater, so much for community spaces, so much for storage and electronics and mechanical.
Really specifics of that building.
Exactly. So we've got all of these programmatic spaces. So the question is, how do we take those programmatic spaces and transplant them in some way to this potential site? And you'll see not only with an extension of the front entrance, but you'll also see an extension on the sides. So if you go to example the next slide, which shows
the overhead view.
Right, that basically shows Memorial Hall in a footprint as is. And the last slide here will show you with some additions onto the sides that could perhaps bring the necessary total square footage that we need to bring that programmatic space to the Memorial Hall site.
So this is kind of a bird's eye view of how you would expand on that property they have there at that time.
Potentially.
Potentially.
You know, and again, we're looking at a way to take the existing site, including the potential of the parking lot that's in front, realizing that we would, in this plan, like to see that parking area aesthetically inviting, aesthetically pleasing. You know, asphalt is very needed for cars, but how might we reinvent that entrance so that people driving down 7th Street, which by the way is Route 66, when people look over and say, what is that? And maybe invites folks to come to stop, or invites the community just to come and sit and enjoy the outdoors, however that might be. And then part of that plan would be, how do we look at adjoining properties for the necessary parking that would be needed? So there's a lot of work, Judy, that has to go into this vision, into this plan. But for the Joplin City Council to understand what needs to be done, we as the community are wanting to go out and bring the plans to them.
So this is where the $65,000 you're raising is to help find the person or have the people do those detailed plans for the city.
Exactly. So with those plans and with that cost estimate, then we'd be able to say to the city, because what we asked the city when we made our presentation, here's the investment that we're going to do. We're going to raise this money privately. We're going to engage for these plans to be developed. We're going to continue with the capital campaign effort with the North Group. And we're going to continue to bring our community together as best we can. But what we would like for you as the city administration and the city staff to do is be thinking while we're doing this, although you don't know numbers yet, what might be possible sources that you could bring as a city into this project, so as we raise money from a capital campaign side, and the city look at potential resources that they might have to bring in so that we can bring this project together to fruition in a paid for way. So it's all paid for. And then the occupants from that standpoint would then likely be taking care of the operational
ongoing
expenses.
Operation of that building.
Right.
So you're in the process. You mentioned people contributing. How do they contact you, Connect2Culture?
Well, we certainly have our office is at 407 South Pennsylvania, which is in the Joseph Newman Innovation Center. Right. So they can
walk in the door and visit with you.
Walk in. They can make their contribution to Connect2Culture at 407 South Pennsylvania, Joplin, Missouri, 64801, just on the memo line, Wright Memorial Hall, so we know that those are funds designated for that purpose. We'll have things in place here very, very soon that if they would like to donate appreciated assets, we can accept that as well. They can contact myself, again, Clifford Wert. Be happy to provide my phone number and my email, so if they have any questions about that. But we have our Connect2Culture website, which is simply www.connect2culture.com, and you can go out there, you'll see the information on that, and we'd welcome any and all inquiries.
And of course, that website is, as we talked at the beginning of the program, a way to find out what's happening in the community as well.
And you can receive our information also through Facebook and receive our weekly calendar. You can receive our emails. Our administrative person, Emily Frankowski, is doing an outstanding job in bringing this information to our community, and we owe her a great deal of thanks.
So a lot of hardworking people behind the scenes that we don't realize in this program, tying it together. Well, it sounds like a lot of things we can follow up in the future as things develop, and people learning a lot, as you've mentioned, as this program is going from proposal stage to let's take step 2 now.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to take some time. We want to do this in a very well thought out and a very strategic way that maximizes the funding resources for both what we want to do at the high school and what we would like to do at the Memorial Hall site. What is the best way to do this to take advantage of the maximum funding sources that we can in this community and or public-private partnership?
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for visiting with me today, sharing some information with us.
Well, thank you, Judy, for having us, and thank you to the Joplin community for your interest in the future of the cultural offerings that we have here, and we look forward to seeing Joplin continue to grow and develop as a thriving hub for this area and the surrounding region.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on this station. We'll see you then.